The Harry Potter fandom are a pretty hardcore bunch. You've got to make sure you get your facts right, as God forbid you say Dumbledore was in love with Voldemort instead of Grindelwald, or you mention She Who Must Not Be Named after all of, that. Also bad are Potter plot holes, but we're here to fill the cracks. Take that phrase as you will. I'm Rich, welcome to WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 Harry Potter plot holes that actually have simple fixes. Number 8. Snape doesn't check his potions cupboard, the Chamber of Secrets and the Goblet of Fire. When Harry, Ron and Hermione turn to using Polyjuice Potion in the Chamber of Secrets, Hermione manages to snaffle some supplies from Professor Snape's potions cupboard, leaving our half-blood prince none the wiser. However, come the Goblet of Fire, Barty Crouch Jr. raids the same potions cupboard to craft the same brew, so the question of how Snape noticed potions going missing in Harry's 4th year but not his 2nd comes to mind. With someone as clever and supposedly observant as Snape, how did this slip through the cracks? Well, it's actually rather simple. As Snape's past continued to creep up on him as Harry's years went on, Book 4 is where things really started getting serious. Big Voldy returned, the Death Eaters were rearing their heads again, and Severus's dark mark grew, well, darker. He was more on edge, and when you're under that kind of paranoia, you probably would be more aware of things changing in your normal surroundings than usual. Still, threatening an innocent 14-year-old student? Not cool, Severus. Number 7. Where were the Thestrals? The Goblet of Fire and the Order of the Phoenix. Cedric Diggory's death was harrowing, but it affected Harry most of all, since he saw it happen right before his very eyes. Now, it's not the first death Harry has ever witnessed, but it doesn't really set in until we see the Thestrals pulling the carriages to Hogwarts in the Order of the Phoenix. Luna explains that you must have seen death in order to see them, so why didn't Harry already see them? Now, She Who Must Not Be Named has already stated that you need to remember the death to see Thestrals, so that rules out Harry's parents dying, but surely he should have seen them when leaving Hogwarts after the events of Book 4. Well, perhaps this is explained by it being more of a state of mind to see them than a blunt, you just need to see death. Harry wouldn't have necessarily processed Cedric's death by the time the school year was over, and we know over the summer after talking in his sleep, it was really starting to get to him. So perhaps that explains why he could only see them after the reality of Cedric's demise had set in. Number 6. There are only 3 unforgivable curses, but a lot of terrible spells. The Cruciatus Curse causes unbearable pain, the Imperious Curse forces the will of the victim, and the Killing Curse makes you hit the deck. These 3 spells are, as the name suggests, unforgivable, but there's still some incredibly dark magic that can do terrible things but aren't anywhere near as frowned upon. But why? It's actually rather simple. These 3 unforgivable curses can't be taken back. You can't undo pain, you can't take back the actions of someone that's been forced to do something, and you can't raise the dead. Memories can be given back, potions have antidotes, and there are of course counter curses that can be used against other spells. The big 3 though, no such luck. Could you wipe the memory of someone who's been under the Cruciatus Curse? Yes. Would that undo the almost broken person that came out the other side of it? Well, no, not at all. Number 5. The Triwizard Tournament was boring. The Goblet of Fire. Back to Book 4, while it was a blast reading or watching the events of the Triwizard Tournament from the perspective of the champions, what must it have been like for those in the stands? Staring at a murky lake that does nothing, a dark maze that does nothing, and actually the Dragon Challenge was alright. When Harry's name was farted from the goblet, the idea of an underage wizard dying in front of 3 schools raised many red flags. Though he did almost kick it when battling a Hungarian Horntail, the final 2 tasks were deliberately done out of sight, as a huge incident, such as someone dying, could taint the Triwizard Tournament, as Hermione put it, it encourages international magical cooperation. Well, it's a good thing nothing bad happened then, even though it was away from the audience. Oh, hi Rafe. Number 4. Why did Hermione lie about the troll, the Philosopher's Stone? It's no surprise that 2 11-year-old boys wouldn't initially be entirely supportive of a bossy, book-smart girl in their year, and this friction reached its peak when Hermione overheard the boys mocking her in the castle courtyard. She proceeds to spend most of the day crying in the girls' bathroom when a wandering troll turns up. Thank you, Quirrell. Harry and Ron save Hermione's life after giving the troll a good bonk on the head, but the boys are then subjected to McGonagall's wrath. Suddenly, Hermione steps in, saying she wanted to fight the troll alone. But why? Telling the truth wouldn't have got her at all in trouble, she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, she was quick on her feet to paint not only the boys as heroes, but also herself as a rule breaker, subsequently gaining respect from Harry and Ron. Oh, the 11-year-old ego, what a strange thing. Number 3. Why are the Dementors so into Harry, the Prisoner of Azkaban? This is one suck you don't want to get. The Prisoner of Azkaban's Dementor visuals are truly horrifying, and for good reason. After Harry succumbs to the suck for the 2nd time, Lupin comforts Harry with the knowledge that they're not going for him directly, but they're drawn to folk with dark pasts. Okay, but what about Neville's family history with the Cruciatus curse? Luna watched her mother die in a gruesome fashion, and what about Lupin himself? Well, it transpires that the Dementors are simply sensing the piece of Voldemort that lies within Harry. They were there to snuff out evil, and they found some. Now that sounds painfully obvious, but of course back then, we didn't know anything of this Harry-Voldemort tidbit, so it definitely did seem odd to begin with. Number 2. The Unbreakable vow should have been used so much more. The Half-Blood Prince. If you break an unbreakable vow, you die. Simple as. Narcissa Malfoy and Snape had one together, with Snape needing to keep Draco safe during the events of the Half-Blood Prince. It's an incredibly powerful spell, if not one of the most powerful, so why wouldn't Voldemort use it to guarantee loyalty from his followers, even if it is coerced through the fear of death? Simple answer, Voldemort is an arrogant asshole. He was too arrogant to realise that even though he'd split his soul into 7, a teenager had already destroyed most of them, and he was too arrogant to realise his loyal followers weren't all that loyal at all. He's a bit of a short-sighted idiot, really. Even with the Elder One supposedly at his command and an army of beasties and Death Eaters at his side, he's still a moron. Look at him. Number 1. Fred and George didn't seem to mind Ron sharing his bed every night. The Prisoner of Azkaban. The Marauders map is surely the bit of wizarding kit we'd all like to own, aside from a wand of course. The titular Marauders created it, and it eventually ended up in the hands of the Weasley twins. Harry discovers that Peter Pettigrew appears on the map, and then we discover that Peter Pettigrew is actually Ron's rat Scabbers. So, why didn't the twins raise concern over seeing Ron supposedly sharing a bed with a dude called Peter, assuming Scabbers was close by Ron every night? Well, Peter was prepared for someone owning the map. After faking his death and remaining rat-like for years, he'd have to play it cool to not be caught on said map. Thus, whenever Ron was asleep, Scabbers would go for a jaunt around Hogwarts every night, hence why Harry thinks he's going to bump into him in a dark corridor and therefore not appear to be in Ron's bed or something. It also quite nicely explains why Scabbers goes missing all the time. Now onto our final mystery regarding the Marauders map, just who was getting noshed off in the Azkaban credits? And that's our list. Any more plot holes that have easy fixes? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to whatculture.com here on YouTube if you haven't already. And my name is Rich. You can follow me on Twitter at PickupChangeToe and on Twitch at RichIsLive. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.
The Force is with us. What Culture Star Wars is our brand new channel dedicated to all things Star Wars. We got lists, we got news, we got editorials, we've got ups and downs. We'll be covering everything to do with Star Wars, past, present, and future. It doesn't matter whether you're a prequels kind of person, an original trilogy purist, or if you just really love the sequels. If you love Star Wars, this will be a safe, positive space to come and relax, chug some blue milk, and maybe even have a death stick or two. In the meantime, it would be very droopy McCool of you if you could subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media so you don't miss any of our uploads going forward. That's all for now though. I've been Ewan, and until next time, may the Force be with you. Bye!